It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 10th of October in the year of our Lord 2024. Season 15, episode 14, 683 times you have been welcomed to the Clubhouse Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, pro wrestling. This time every week, that's what we do. And 14 in a row, we have not missed a week yet in season 15. I feel good about that. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of tap dancing for a few moments because it's just me right now. Oh, there he is. That's good news. But I don't see him yet. So we'll just have to wait for him to get everything up and running. There he is. My co-host running a little close to the ground today. He is Alex.
More Icarus. A bit more Icarus. Felt like running close to the sun.
Fair enough. Although it's a beautiful day today.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Here in the Metroplex. Done out on assignment for a couple of weeks. So it'll be us for a couple of weeks. Although we're trying to figure out next week because I, for a change, will be in Vegas next week. So
feels weird.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. Officiating Courtney and Colton's wedding. Courtney and Colton. I have to enunciate that or it all blends together. So looking forward to that. I got a 6 a.m. flight on Wednesday.
No, thank you.
What we do. And then I'll be flying back Saturday. Do want to send a couple of quick shout outs as we get underway. Thank you to everybody that came out for Giganticon in Killeen, Texas this weekend. Got to see a buddy of mine from high school who actually lives down there. Rick Garcia, who was in marching band with me, got to see him, spent a little bit, didn't spend a ton of time because they were running close to the ground too. He had to leave on a flight for Alaska the next day because that's where they just moved here from. And so he's an attorney, so he has to go back there and do business a couple times a month. I'm sure his frequent flyer miles are in the 7 digits by now. If not, great to see Rick. Also got to do some really cool stuff. Shout out to the Sanderson sisters, ATX. They are fantastic. The Hocus Pocus panel was really, really good. Doug Jones hugged me, which was awesome. And behold my mug. This is the mug in question, Alex.
It's really a glorious stein.
For reference, this is my phone. I love this thing. Once known as the Macho Mug, which confused Alex at lunch the other day.
Well, I had no other information, and my brain immediately goes to Randy Savage.
And quick shout out as well to Gambit Social House, which is in Harker Heights, which is like right next to Killeen. It's like a 5-minute drive between. Great place. DJ'd at the pre-party, did karaoke at the after party, had an absolute blast. They do it right over there. They've only been open since April. And they're doing okay. Great. The food was fantastic. I had the buffalo wings, which were great. And I didn't go boneless. I got and they were good there. I mean, the drums were about that big.
The Italian chicken nugget that is the boneless buffalo wing.
Hey, I ain't scared of it. I love it. But they do something that very few people do anymore. As I was enjoying my buffalo wings, I had celery and carrots with it. Did not have to order it. Did not be an upcharge. So shout out to that. And they make their own blue cheese in-house. Fantastic.
Nice.
It was the perfect middle ground between chunky blue cheese and non-chunky blue cheese. Very, very rich flavor to it. So great job by Gambit Social House. Everybody had a blast. I'm always glad to remember to take the day after a road trip off because I was exhausted. And shout out to Buc-ee's in Hillsboro that always takes care of me now that that one's open. Because that's great because it's right before you hit the 35 split. So, and it's right about the halfway point.
Nice.
So I get out, stretch a little bit, get my Buc-ee's on. Something about that club sandwich. That spicy aioli that they put on it. Oh, man.
I have never had their club sandwich. I'll have to trust you on that one and try it next time.
Put that on your list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going through my strawberry yogurt covered pretzels. because I get those, and then I get the dried bananas, and some of them are covered in milk chocolate, and some of them aren't.
Ooh.
For some reason, they've just decided they don't want to do their apple rings anymore, which I'm very sad about. But had a great time. Loved seeing all of my con family and hanging out and walking the floor and seeing all the stuff I can't afford. You know, the normal stuff. Some of our amazing cosplay friends that were there. My buddy Darren got to do his cosplay spelling bee. Went over like gangbusters. Shout out to the AV team who does a great job at these things. And our ASL interpreters, Blue Sun, got to see my friend Lael and her fiance. They're getting married here in a couple of weeks down in the Houston area. She actually lives in the town where my wife went to high school, Cypress Fairbanks, which is a suburb of Houston. Now let's plug stuff for this show. Tomorrow night, boys and girls, because there's not two of you, so that's weird. Tomorrow night in Garland, Smoky Rose, 5 p.m. We're going to be there hanging out with our friends, our what do we call them? Our network mates? Is that what we call those?
I think we need to workshop a term just tomorrow on live microphones, perhaps.
Yeah. Sunset Lounge DFW, which our second week exclusively there. I want to thank everybody that's given us some great feedback joining this network. $5 a month, and you're getting all kinds of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be there 5 to 9, not just us. Like, we're going to be there just mixing and mingling and everything else. I have not gotten the full schedule yet, but come on out to Smoky Rose in Garland, 5 to 9. All the shows are going to be represented from Sunset Lounge DFW. I am excited. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it looks like a great venue as well, so that'll be even more fun. Like, I will neither confirm nor deny that by the time a microphone gets in front of me, I may have had a few margaritas, but we'll find out.
Do I need to come pick you up so I can drive you home?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I think the adult might actually be coming with me.
Oh, really?
There's a 50-50 chance.
Well, there's always a chance. So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, yeah.
Also, as we get into transitioning into sports a little bit, this week in Vegas was the official end of the Tropicana Hotel and Casino. What did we say? It was like 2 a.m. when they did that over there?
Something like that. But they have to make it as clear as possible so that stuff always happens over.
Right. And for those who don't know, it's like right there on the strip. So you've got to do it in a time that's not going to be very high traffic.
Yeah.
So is that the oldest one that's not on Fremont until 2 days ago?
I don't know that it is. I'll have to dig deep into that one, but the qualifier of Fremont, I think there might be other structures, but they have changed iterations and formats, I believe, that are older. But the Trop was a long-standing, and it was the Tropicana, pretty much, period.
And I'm going to say for the record, I went to the website today because I was like, I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a partier. There's other stuff I want to do. Like, I'm going to go to the Pinball Museum, which actually is all coin op. But I saw a YouTube video from a couple of weeks ago. I'm hoping there was a bunch of machines that weren't running. I'm hoping they've got those up and running, but I'm going to go regardless because I love that place. And I haven't been to the new facility.
Well, the reason that a lot of them were shut down was because there was areas in and around there that were being worked on. So it was a bit more difficult for them to have a full parking lot, we'll say. So they were just tempering it back. But it is a fantastic facility. And remember, I told you the same thing. It took me 8 years to get Sean to come to Vegas with me because of my early adoption of the phone betting. I would place all my bets before we even landed. And I was like, all right, where do you want to go? And she's like, you're just going to want to go to the casino. It's like, no, I'm done. You want to go to the lake?
Well, and from what I'm told, I don't know if it's still there. I'm sure it is. But KISS has a mini golf course out there.
At the Rio.
I want to go see that.
I have told, I don't know if I've told you this. I have played that course multiple times.
Have you? Yeah, I plan on.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely got its. If you're interested in KISS, it's definitely worth it.
But also, I wanted to go to the Sphere.
That bring your checkbook.
There's no tickets.
Oh, it depends. The gist is they run multiple things a day, but they don't sell the tickets until you get closer.
Oh, okay. Because I looked at the website today and there was nothing because they are showing the U2 concert film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at like 4 p.m. So I'm like, that would be awesome. And there's no tickets because the Eagles are playing Friday night and Saturday night, which I would love to see them, but Friday night's the wedding. Saturday night.
I just realized you have the narrow scope of it, and you are there during high demand time. So there might actually be no tickets while you're there.
No, and that's okay. But anyway, so for those of you that have not, you can go out. There's multiple people that filmed the whole thing with the Tropicana. There are drones. There are pyro drones. It's 7 minutes long. Yeah. I think you could just call it a fireworks extravaganza because it never stopped for 7 full minutes. But go check it out. It's really neat the way what they did with the drones. The first shot, I think I saw it from, I think it was from the front, but the first formation was the Tropicana logo on a poker chip was backwards, so they were probably showing it to the other side. And then the drones made it look like the poker chip rotated, and that was pretty dope.
I only saw the standard fly cam they had on the other end. I believe that was from McCarran. I don't care if you want me to call it Harry Reid. It's McCarran.
The airport, McCarran. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Remember, it still says Joe Robbie Stadium.
Well, I still don't know why they changed the name. I don't care. But the angle that you had was looking across the Trop as it went down because it was right by the MGM Grand, which is, as we know, one of my favorite homes away from home.
So I'll bring you a full report. I think we can get the show done live, but I need to check with Phil. I just need to know the distance between where we're staying and where the rehearsal is. And if it's fairly close, it may not be a full show, but we're going to have a show next week. Well, that's my plan. I will be equipped to do so. Let's get a big sports news breaking today that at the end of this season, Rafael Nadal is retiring.
There has been talk of him retiring over the last couple of years, and it's not. Tennis is interesting in that scope because you have these guys and women who are 17 years old and becoming instant millionaires and celebrities, and then by the time they're 29, they're ancient? Question mark. But with Nadal being at the top of the game for so long, he has just dealt with so many injuries over the last few years. I think for him, it's more along the lines of like, give me some time off. He strikes me as the kind of guy, he'll take a year or two off, but then he'll come back around the same way that Federer kind of did once he healed up.
Rafa did do a great video as announcing his retirement today. I just saw, I've got on my screen over here, I've got the Thursday night game. Apparently Messi has a cologne at JCPenney now.
I think they all do at this point.
You know, I haven't worn cologne in probably a decade.
Miami FC.
Pretty much since, I think the last time I wore cologne was in 2010. Because I had a job where I was working in hospitals, and you're not supposed to wear colognes when you're working in hospitals. So I haven't worn since then. I was a Drakkar guy, if that tells you anything.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Hey, I'm old school. That's how I roll. NCAA football sucks to be a favorite last week.
Yeah, I did.
Good night. Oh. I was at Gambit Social House, and it was like, upset. It was nuts.
It was almost like they said, like, okay, if you're in the top 10, raise your hand, and they just went, nope.
Yeah.
None of you.
I mean, let's just go through some scores here. I mean, TCU loses again, almost gets doubled up by Houston. Oregon, number 3, 31-10 over Sparty. Your Pitt Panthers get a 10-point win over North Carolina. Good. Let's see. Badger gets a big win over Purdue. Number 4, Penn State, 27-11 over UCLA. A&M over Mizzou, 41-10.
That I did not see coming.
Mizzou's one of those teams, like, they're either going to hang in there with you or they're just going to get blown out. There's no middle ground for the Tigers.
I know we don't have the chat feature anymore, but there has been a response from the Peanut Gallery after the Minnesota score. It's good to be a Gopher fan.
Gopher, Golden Gophers. I don't even know if that's a real song, but I just wrote it. In the Battle of the Service,
they owe you $1 now.
Navy 34-7 over Air Force. Number 25 SMU hangs on to beat Louisville by a touchdown. Army big over Tulsa this week. Tulane with a big win over UAB. Number 18 Indiana beats Northwestern in their own house, like Northwestern owes them money. Georgia back on track, 31-13 over Auburn. Ole Miss with a big win over South Carolina, staying in the top 10. Sucks to have the under in App State Marshall, 52-37. West Virginia with a big win over Okie State. Vanderbilt. Let's just dive right in. Vanderbilt. This is my conference. I will tell you a story about Vanderbilt. When I worked for a company about 10 years ago, my director went to Vanderbilt. He claimed he went to an Ivy League school, and I said, nope, you went to Vandy, which technically is the Ivy League of the SEC, so I'll give you that.
And they do sell all the merch that says, like, the Harvard of the South.
Now, do you know what their chant is in the stand?
I was going to ask you the exact same thing. Yes, I do.
This was one of the things he would talk about. Was their chant was, you may have won the game someday, but you may have won the game today, but you'll all work for us
someday. Yep.
I watched the end of this game and I sat there going, is there a problem with the graphic? Because there's like a minute left in this game and Vandy could win this. And doggone if they don't, which they had to be like a 35-point underdog.
I want to say it was 23.
At that point, does it matter?
for facts.
Once you hit 3, although it's worse in the NFL if you hit 3 touchdowns, which we've seen in recent years, Indianapolis, I'm talking to you. But I was just like, oh dear, this is a thing. Now, there has been a lot of, in the 3 big upsets this weekend, all 3 quarterbacks came from the transfer portal. So that's been a big topic of discussion this week as we move on a little bit. Number 10, Clemson. Come again?
It was 22.5.
Yeah. And then you win outright.
But here's the funny part about this. This is why I was talking about Vanderbilt last week. This was the perfect storm of Saban living his best life, doing the college game day. And wait. And they asked him about it, and he was like, I don't have to teach Kalen DeBoer anything. He's done great everywhere he's gone. Fact. He's got this team ready to go. Question. And he said, but it's an SEC game, so you have to worry a little bit because every place in the SEC is tough to play except Vanderbilt. And it's like, oh, there goes a pinboard item.
That did not age well.
No, it did not.
What? Clemson over doubles up Florida State. Arkansas State wins by a safety. Number 11, Iowa State, as Baylor continues to lose. They take Baylor to the woodshed in their house, 43-21. Number 17, Boise State doubles up Utah State. Golden Gophers, as we said earlier, they beat USC, that continues to plummet. Michigan beat by the Huskies by 10. Georgia Tech loses to Duke. Florida gets a win over UCF. I'm good with that. Tennessee, Arkansas. I watched the end of this game. First of all, shout out to Arkansas for knowing exactly the defense to play on that last stand.
Yeah.
Like, that quarterback looked like, am I supposed to be out here? Because I got nothing. And God knows he tried to make the play, but there was nothing there. And I sat there. Thank God somebody was singing karaoke, because I'm looking at the screen going, oh, this is happening.
Well, it's interesting because not only do we have the situation where it's like all of the top 10 teams, it's like everybody who's still in the top 10, please step forward, not so fast. But you have everybody who is, as soon as they are a Heisman hopeful, the wheels are seeming to fall off on these kids. And the only one that has remained playing well has been Cam Ward, who came out of not nowhere, but he wasn't on the list of favorites. And then you have the aspect of the team is struggling, but he's not. I don't know if I didn't hear if you said that score yet.
Which one?
The Miami Cal.
I haven't got.
Cal. I think it's one of the last ones you'll be coming up on if you haven't.
Yeah, it's coming.
That's
we have an interception at San Francisco just picked.
on
their own. Let's see. Arizona State beats Kansas by 4. Miami has to come from behind to win at Cal. When watching Michael Irvin lose his mind on the sideline when that score happened was fun. But
did you hear his explanation though?
I did not.
Okay, so people were freaking out about him being weird on the sidelines. And if you watched the game, he was on all fours. He was getting animated, but he wasn't standing. He explained it a couple days after. He was like, when you get to be my age, after making a living having large men try to decapitate you, things tend to hurt. And standing for that long on a sidelines, my back was hurting. So I was getting down, trying to stretch it out, trying to stretch the hips and everything else. And I got down there, down by 3 touchdowns. And then suddenly he's referring to the U.
He's allowed.
Scored. Sorry?
I said he's allowed because he is part of that thing.
Part of the true U. But to clarify, he was like, yeah, and football players are superstitious. So as soon as I was on the ground and we started scoring, I wasn't getting back up. And I'm like, playmaker.
Just when they got that final touchdown and he got up, probably not great having the camera in his face as he said, "Let's go." But somebody else that you brought up, you put on my feed and has now been talking is this kid from Boise State who is averaging 10.1 yards per rush.
Ashton Jeanty.
Holy cow, this kid's good.
He apparently had like 24 offers in the transfer portal, and he said, no, this is where I wanted to play. I would rather build something and stay here. And the funny part is, you look like, oh, he's had a couple of games that were under 200 yards, and then you look closer and realize he only played the first half.
And that was the thing that you posted that I saw, and I was like, oh, good Lord.
I don't know what's going on, but the other part is you look at him and I see Derrick Henry, because now granted, Boise doesn't play the strongest of schedules, but they don't play an Ohio State cream puff schedule. Yeah. Suck it, Ohio. Anyways. But he's running over everybody. And the part that makes me almost nervous watching this Broncos offense, he's just standing back there. He looks like he's waiting in line to order a sandwich. And then he's gone.
And say thank you for saying it correctly.
We have had that discussion.
A lot of people still say it with a Z. If you're up that way, they will correct you. My mother has made sure I remember it's an S, not a Z.
I reiterate, the only time I pronounced it as Boise was when you had Jared Zabransky, and that was part of the branding for his Heisman run, which never wound up materializing, but because of his Z, that was the only acceptable time, and I will stand by that.
Can I talk to CW for a minute?
Okay.
CW, hear me. Find a night for Inside the NFL and keep it there. Apparently, it was last night. It's on my DVR, so I'm going to watch it after the show or maybe watch it in the morning. But last week, it was on Friday. If you're going to try to air Inside the NFL on Friday, just skip a week. Because they're not talking a lot about the games coming up. They're talking about 90% of that show is that, although watching them interview James Harrison with Ocho Cinco in the room was hilarious. But like, I'm watching Inside the NFL and I'm like, this doesn't work for me on a Friday.
But
I understand you can't do it on Tuesday anymore because you got another show that's taking up 2 hours. But give me Wednesday.
But it's the CW. When's the last time anything on the CW truly had that kind of anchor presence where it was, this is the time on this? Because I would venture to say it hasn't happened since it became the CW.
But last year, they were steady on Tuesdays every week.
Yeah.
This year, it's like the Castle and Krull. It just kind of shows up.
Why not do back to back? 2 hours NXT and then inside the NFL after that.
I think they do 9 o'clock news like Fox does.
That is fair. I believe they do have that deal.
But still, I'd be fine with Wednesday.
Yeah.
Friday's a bad idea.
I know exactly what time somebody who now has a deal with the CW would ask them to put it on.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The Jets have fired Robert Saleh in a very strange move. Rumors of him returning to San Francisco, perhaps. I don't think the coach is the problem at MetLife Stadium with the team in green and white.
Oh, and the fact is, did you hear the quote from Rodgers?
Which one? Did
the
you
one
see
about
did you see what his lower third was on McAfee?
No.
It
I
was
don't even
like,
bother with that anymore.
It was like number of Super Bowls, number of MVPs, and on the right side it said Ayahuasca Authority. It was like, wow.
So, but to reiterate, obviously everybody is like, oh, Aaron Rodgers got Robert Saleh fired. And when he was asked about it, he didn't say no. He basically did the political thing where it's, well, I find that patently offensive. I would have no hand in removing a coach. I love Coach Saleh. And it's like, anybody who doesn't just say no to start feels like they're going to say yes at some point.
And to which point I say.
But the other interesting report in that scope was there was a meeting between Saleh and the ownership briefly the night before where he was taking Aaron Rodgers' good buddy Nathaniel Hackett's play calling duties away. And then he's fired the next morning. Woody Johnson has owned the team for almost my entire life, has never fired a coach midseason until this time.
Well, did you see the other interesting fact about that?
Are you talking about his
contract? This is now the third coach that has been fired after playing in London.
I did not see that. That's interesting. But what I found interesting on that is Robert Saleh for the next 2 years will be paid $20,000 per day for that contract. Okay.
I'd take him on my team. I like that.
Absolutely. I loved his coaching ability and nope, no update yet. But he is not the problem. I mean, the defense was still playing well, and Ulbrich deserves credit for that, the interim coach, because he maintained it. But when you have arguably, and I'm going to put it in this context just using fact, I am not talking about the man, I'm talking about his performance. Nathaniel Hackett has been the worst offensive coach by outcome since Adam Gase.
Woo!
And that happens to also include New York. But statistically speaking, he has been worse. Now, granted, Adam Gase has his numbers being very much padded by Peyton Manning going, yeah, that's good, kid. You just stay over there. I'm going to go throw 55.
Yeah. Well, and furthering my thought process of Davante Adams not wanting to be anywhere near that, because right now that's out of the frying pan into the fire, in my opinion.
And all the reports are the reverse. There are so many reports saying Davante Adams wants to go to the Jets. Point blank, period. He wants to go to the Jets. I get it. His best years were with Rodgers. Rodgers hyper targets when he has a good player that he's familiar with. The problem is he has an even better version. With all due respect, Davante Adams is an all-timer. Garrett Wilson's a better receiver to me right now if he gets utilized. And the problem is it's just not happening.
If he wants a ring, he needs to go a little bit further north. Baltimore. I'm staying with Baltimore.
That's south.
Is it why? Okay. Remember, I didn't have
that's why I was confused.
I didn't take geography.
Because I was like, north would be Buffalo or the Patriots, and we know one of those isn't the answer.
Two of them might not be, and one of them I've got the defense of, and I'm not happy right now. But I still think Baltimore's. It's just there's something in my gut that's telling me he's going to be a Raven. I don't know.
The problem is that Baltimore is in that same vein. They don't trade for veterans. They have done a phenomenal job getting veterans that were cast off from other places. So if somehow this becomes Devontae Adams getting cut, which is not going to happen, then I could see Baltimore getting more involved. But as a trade partner, I mean, you look at it. Steve Smith, cast off by the Panthers, they signed him. Anquan Bolden, cast off by the Cardinals, and they signed him, and both played great. But it's always been the, quote, bargain veteran that they have gone for versus giving up picks. Because Baltimore thinks more highly. They have changed the thought process of, we would rather have more picks and play the lotto because we trust our process than actually giving up picks for a guy who worked elsewhere.
My gut just keeps telling me.
I'm not saying you're going to be wrong. I'm just saying that would be another thing outside the norm.
And get ready, speaking of Vegas, get ready, New Orleans. The Aiden O'Connell and Spencer Rattler eras have begun.
I know exactly one person who's excited for half of that because, and I want to make sure we say this before anything happens, right, wrong, or indifferent. Friend of the show, Steven Zimmerman, on our NFL pre-show was talking about Spencer Rattler playing his butt off when he gets the shot for New Orleans. Now, he thought that Carr was going to be bad and Rattler would be installed, but this is the same concept as we get there.
Yeah, Carr out with an oblique injury.
And those ain't fun.
Fantasy updates this week. It is the battle for the middle of the pack. As Alex and I will go head to head. I had to make some adjustments today.
Yeah.
Still showing me probably losing.
Well, that's why I was making a face, was because Debo just about had a touchdown.
Yeah. The problem is I've got Purdy. So it's gonna
it's the blend.
I got Purdy and Lockett. So
hot Lockett.
Right now you're predicted to beat me by 24.
I don't care about predicting.
But I'm currently in 4th, Alex in 5th in our league. In our Pick'em league, you made a heck of a move this week, sir. You cracked the top 10. You're in 9th place right now.
That was only about a 15-spot jump, but it's funny when you pay attention.
I currently am in 3rd. I have sole possession of 2nd place right now. I am 1 game behind the leader, which is Ryan Jean 13. That's our
whoever that is. We need to know who you are if you want to win prizes.
Shout out Ryan Jean 13. All right, let's talk about week 6 in the NFL, week 5 in the NFL. I'm really glad that I have Atlanta's kicker. Because when I drafted him, I said that because I keep screwing it up. Young Huku, did I get it?
No. Okay. Young Wei Ku. Yes.
Okay, Young Wei.
Yeah.
For some reason, I
is pronounced with a W in Korean.
He went to Florida State, didn't he?
No.
I thought
I don't know that he kicked domestically, to be honest with you. I'm taking a look at it.
But yeah, I'm glad I have him and I said when in the draft, Atlanta's going to be kicking a lot. Even though I got my butt handed to me in fantasy. Thank you, Buffalo's defense. But he kicked a lot and he got them the win in overtime as Atlanta was giving 2.5 and win by 6. Minnesota was getting 2.5, but they didn't need it as they beat the Jets. Still can't understand why the Jets were giving them points overseas. Friend of the show, Mike, was there on TV multiple times.
And if you don't believe us, go look at his Facebook.
We reposted something. Chicago.
Now, to clarify,
go ahead.
Before we go too far, Young Wei Ku kicked for Georgia Southern.
Oh, wow. So I was at least in the right section
in the southeast. Yeah.
Chicago was giving Carolina 4, and as we said last week, it wasn't enough as they beat Carolina by 26. Sucks to have. Isn't Cincinnati the team to beat in the AFC?
Depends on who you ask.
Because everybody seems to. As Baltimore beats them by 3 and covers by a half a point. Miami wins New England ugly. I don't know how I feel about that last call. But without my bias,
we have to have that conversation.
Well, without my bias, by the letter of the law, the call was correct. Does that mean that the rule needs to be looked at? Because his ankle came down first, but then the foot was out on the backside of the end zone. Like, I see the argument from both sides, but to the letter of the law, the call was correct.
And to me, I feel like if you try to change that, you wind up creating more situations than you're trying to solve. So at that same point, I'm good with it because it's whatever comes down is considered part of the football motion. If any of that comes down out of bounds, you're out of bounds. If you happen to keep just your toe up and your midfoot to everything else is hanging over, but it doesn't come down, that's in. I'm good with it. There's no part of you touching out of bounds. I think it's actually really simple. I'm good with it.
Commanders with another big win as they beat Cleveland by 21. Indy loses to Jacksonville. It's bound to happen sooner or later. Houston over Buffalo in a crazy game. I dug the Houston unis though.
Yeah, the city connect.
Oh, those were good.
I dislike Houston a lot as a city, but they are pretty much lights out when they want to make a jersey.
And all of a sudden, the autumn wind trying to be a Raider, but not succeeding because they lose 34-18 to Denver. Arizona beats San Francisco by a point. San Francisco giving 7, we all said might have been a little generous, but now Arizona still rolls.
But at the same time, you look at it, the game wasn't that close. That was with San Francisco coming back to get to that level. That's the insane part of this. Arizona was in control of that game from the jump.
We're 13 minutes into the game, and San Francisco is up 3-0. Green Bay over Los Angeles by 5. Your Giants got the win, sir.
I am now in the uncomfortable situation of like, fine, let's win. I mean, fine, let's win. I can't play the draft slot game anymore.
Sunday night football that doesn't start until almost 11 o'clock Eastern, I think, by the time that game actually kicked off. Dallas wins, not pretty, but then Dak decides he's just going to call dude perfect and bulldoze his house and rebuild it.
God, he was bad too.
They did enough to win.
Well, my favorite new factoid, though, Dak Prescott is the first NFL quarterback to throw an interception on 2 different days within the same game.
Yeah, technically you are correct, sir.
No, that's not technically. That's fact.
No,
they were in the Eastern time zone.
That's right. And then on Monday Night Football, Denver wins again. I'm sorry, Kansas City wins again. What have I said since the preview? You're the champs until somebody tells you otherwise. It ain't pretty, but they're winning.
Yeah.
You only need 1 point to win.
And the crazy part is they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Now, people can argue, and I kind of can't argue against it, that they are getting some favorable calls. But at the same time, beat them.
Yep. Let's get into Week 6. Teams on the bye this week. Kansas City gets the rest. The Rams get the rest. Miami gets the rest, thank God. And Minnesota. All teams on the bye this week. In this game, San Francisco's giving 3.5. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like right now, Seattle's a bit of a sleeping giant.
And I don't know if it's that far, but this is one of those times where the hook completely changes my team if I have to pick. At 3, I take San Francisco. At 3.5, give me Seattle because I think San Francisco wins this by 3.
Back in London, Jacksonville visits what we call their new stadium as they will play the Bears. Chicago's giving them 1.5.
I'm moderately surprised by that, but then you look at it. Excuse me. Sorry, I was thinking about Jacksonville playing and yawned. they have been terrible. They were good this last game, but they have not been in sync or clicking the entire season. And Chicago finally played offense. The defense has been great, but they finally look like they're starting to play offense. And I saw somebody mention that the first weeks of the season, the first month, we can no longer consider indicative of anything. As you have said on many occasions, the games don't count. Well, in fact, they do here, but the injuries are where it really matters because this is your preseason now. There are enough games and there are enough teams making the playoffs that they don't care to really get through it in the preseason. Sure, it'd be nice if they do, but they're like the first month doesn't mean anything because we can go on a 12-game heater after that and be the number one seed. So you have to get through the first month of teams being, I don't want to use the term basic, but I can't think of something else, rudimentary.
But
And now we're going to see real football.
I still also contend that a lot of these injuries that we're seeing, and I want player safety. I want our players to have great careers. But when you're not letting them have full contact practices before any time, even before the season starts, that's where a lot of your injuries are going to come from, especially as these players get older. They need that level of conditioning.
The warm up,
Yes.
The rubber band breaks if it's not stretched properly.
Yep.
But I love the other response to that of like, have you ever seen a lion stretch before it chases down a gazelle? No, because I haven't been there. Maybe they do. Maybe they're up against the tree stretching the little lion hammies, but
you don't know. We don't know.
But I have a question for you, and it's been an interesting topic. But you and I don't believe have discussed this.
Okay.
Players can now wear a Guardian cap during games.
Mm-hmm.
And it does look ridiculous if you're looking at it. Do you care?
No. I'm good with
it.
I'm good with it. If it's not giving anybody a competitive advantage, in my opinion. Now, granted, does it look like they forgot to sit under the dryer at the salon and now they're making up for it at the game? Yes. But if the player's more comfortable and it does what it's supposed to do, there's no advantage to it. Do whatever you want.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that much of a response, but I appreciate it and I'm here for it because I was going to say something that is my hottest take of the year.
Go ahead.
Put Guardian caps on everyone. Make it mandatory.
No debate for me.
Wasn't
it Don Beebe that wore that weird mushroom-shaped helmet?
I honestly don't know what you're referring to.
Somebody on the Bills, I think it was Don Beebe, wore a different style of helmet that the league was experimenting with, and he just kept it. I know I didn't drink.
I'm looking it up now.
While Alex is doing that, let's get into Sunday's games in the early set. Arizona goes to what soon will be
the frozen tundra of Lambeauville.
Green Bay's giving them 5. That, if we've learned anything in the last 2 weeks, it's like don't underestimate Arizona, but the Packers are starting to get things together. At home, I would be tempted, and I will go ahead and say, give me Green Bay -5.
This is another one I feel very on the fence about it because, as I've said, Arizona can score, but they can't stop people. Green Bay has been able to do both, but neither quite successfully since the opening night when they were putting points on Philly. I feel like at 5, give me the Cardinals.
All right. Future home of WrestleMania, Tennessee, as the Titans host Indianapolis. Tennessee's giving 2.5. There's nothing that would keep me from taking Indy +2.5 because they're just going to run all over them. Because Tennessee is probably the team that disappoints me the most this year.
I have to ask the question: who do you show as the favorite right now?
It would be Tennessee. They're giving 2.5.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of buzz on this one because originally Indianapolis was favored. And then news of Michael Pittman going on IR I believe, or discussions of him going on IR popped up, and suddenly the number just flipped. And there's got to be some other things that I'm not realizing because it's been such a dramatic turn. I feel like this is closer to a 1-point game, so give me the dog in Indianapolis. And I know Jonathan Taylor is supposedly out. Trey Sermon had a hurt shoulder, but you know what? They still ran last week, even if they didn't win.
Houston goes to Gillette Field. Houston's giving New England 7. It ain't enough. Give me Houston minus a touchdown.
This is one, give me the stretch on it. I'll take it all the way up to 13.5. I have no faith in Drake May not getting murdered behind that line.
Houston may get the over-under of 38 on their own.
That I'm not going to do because the Patriots defense has actually looked okay. But this is one of those games where I feel like the final score might be 24-3.
Tampa Bay goes to New Orleans after that showing last Thursday night. Tampa Bay's giving them 3.5. Given the Spencer Rattler variable, I'm still going to take Tampa Bay, but I don't feel good about it.
I'm pretty solidly taking Tampa Bay. The biggest thing for me here is you have, why am I drawing a blank? Todd Bowles, who has been a phenomenal defensive coach for decades now. And we know that good defenses absolutely annihilate first time out rookie quarterbacks, especially ones that weren't, quote, good enough to start from day one. So I feel like he's going to be, I'm not using the pun, I have to adjust it. I feel like he is not going to get settled in. He is going to see pressure. He is facing a good enough defense in Tampa Bay that he might hear footsteps. I'm still going to take Tampa, but that doesn't mean that Spencer Rattler isn't going to figure it out next week.
The city of Philadelphia that now only has 2 sports to watch, they are hosting the Browns, and they're giving the Browns 9.5. And I'm going to say it again, it ain't enough. Cleveland's in a free fall. And I hate to bet on Philly, but yeah.
Here's your real problem. Cleveland's not in a free fall. They've already been the dumpster all season. They can't fall because they're already at the bottom. And now the conversation hasn't been, was Cleveland a quarterback away from being a contender? It's now, is the deal with Deshaun Watson the worst that it's ever been made?
Good Lord.
And it's kind of hard to argue against that right now.
100% guaranteed. Like, that's insane. And you're paying the man, what was it?
$250 million. Guaranteed.
Commanders go to M&T Bank Stadium.
I am excited for this one.
Baltimore giving 6.5. I think it's too generous. Give me the Commanders plus 6.5. I believe in Baltimore. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But man, Washington Football Club, I really enjoy watching.
I am right there with you. My problem with that one is 6.5 is there for a reason. I haven't seen them stop anybody. Baltimore has not been the lights out defense that it traditionally has been, but they have stopped some teams here and there, and that offense has been clicking. So allow me to put it this way. Even if both teams score on almost every drive, if I had to pick a team that's going to fail more often than the other, I'm going to take Washington to fail 3 or 4 more times than Baltimore, and there's no reason that's not a touchdown difference. So
if I go to August and I ask you which one of these teams is 4-1, I guarantee you get it wrong.
I absolutely would agree with that. I'm pretty sure Washington has already won more games than any of us gave them credit for in the preview.
Is this the first year that Debo has put senior on his jersey?
No.
Because I feel like I've done
it for 2 or 3 years now.
Oh, has he? Okay.
No. The problem is you haven't seen it as much because he kept getting hurt last year.
There you go. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. And he did that. The other one that makes it stand out more is that this is the first year he has a single-digit number, I believe.
I would also like to say I think I've matched my wins in fantasy to last year. I feel good about that.
I think you had more last year than that.
No, I think I had 3.
I'm trying to be nice, Rob.
No, I'm trying to be honest, sir. Chargers getting ready to charger. They go to Mile High. They're giving Denver 3. Give me Denver, because Denver's starting to figure out what they are, and the Chargers are not.
This is another one that if you catch it at the right time, if it's 3, give me the Chargers. The moment the hook kicks in, give me Denver, because I feel like this is another 3-point game, just like the one we have on right now.
And that starts the late set, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh goes to Vegas, and they're giving them a field goal. It ain't enough. Give me Pittsburgh.
I don't get why anybody would think Aiden O'Connell is an improvement. I just don't get it. I don't hate the kid. I want him to do well, because there's a part of me that will always pull for Vegas. But yeah, give me the Steelers on a bounce back, because they actually looked really in control against Dallas until a couple of questionable calls late in the game, along with some rain. And yeah, I think Pittsburgh is a better team than they showed last week, and they're going to do it this week.
Dallas hosting Detroit and getting 3. I believe in MCDC.
I will co-sign that. I can't top that. I'm just going to say yes.
And rounding out the late set, Atlanta goes to Carolina. Atlanta's giving 6. I have no faith in the Panthers. None. 0.
The closer we get to the weekend, the higher that number has been crawling. I don't know that it's going to... I think it's all the way up to a touchdown. I'm still on Atlanta's side. But at that same point, yeah, Carolina's at home. They should play better at home, yada, 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 and all of that. But Andy Dalton had the crash back to earth last week, and I'm not sure it's going to go anywhere better from there.
Cincinnati goes to MetLife Stadium on Sunday Night Football. Cincinnati is giving them a field goal and a half a point. I'm taking the Giants. Cincinnati has not shown me anything, and I'm so glad I did not draft Joe Burrow. Debo's going. Touchdown.
Now,
you're going to dismantle me this week, dude. It's okay.
No. I'm not. You know me. I'm not going to brag in your face unless you deserve it.
It's okay, because now I'm going to lose every game, because I've already said I've matched my win total.
This should be a Giants side. Except for there's 2 big problems. That offense doesn't look nearly as good without Malik Neighbors, and he is trending to not play.
How do you leave that man that open?
Because he's 4 feet tall and they don't realize it.
Like,
this is okay. So
he could
this is a perfect example.
Ate dinner, come back, and still caught that ball.
This is the perfect example of why having somebody like Steven on the show is fun, because he understands it even better. This is what happens when teams try to play zone against the Niners. They have to abandon some spots to play zone, and they are really, really good at finding those soft spots. Now, circling back, this absolutely should be a Giants at 3.5 as a dog, but with Malik Neighbors trending not to play, they're not nearly as good. Trey Hendrickson of FAU is still terrorizing quarterbacks from Cincinnati's line, even if their DBs are garbage. That's right. I said it. Come get me, Cam Taylor, Britt. But that offense looked like they finally figured it out last week. And I expect Cincinnati, to borrow your phrase from earlier, the total on this game is 48.5.
I've got it at even 48, but 6-1.
Well, I'm looking at the live odds. To hit the over at 48.5, I'm going to say the Giants only need to score 2 touchdowns, because the Bengals are going to hang 35 or more on them.
I just don't have that level of faith. Monday night, Buffalo goes to MetLife Stadium themselves to play the Jets. Buffalo's giving them 2.5. Give me Buffalo. Give me Buffalo. They're going to realize very quickly that the man they got rid of is not the problem, and this is when you're going to start to see it. I ain't scared.
I'm more interested in this one, because after Saleh making the decision to take play calling away from Nathaniel Hackett and everything that happened, Jeff Ulbrich did the same thing when he got introduced. So there will be an interesting situation of how that offense is going to look. I believe there is a general lack of faith in the Jets adjusting on anything in that scope. But traditionally, teams who fire a head coach come out a little bit more thundery, we'll say, a little bit more amped up to prove that it was the coach and now things are right. I kind of want to lean on the Jets side because, and I'm not taking a shot here, the Bills defense has not looked as good as it has in years past.
You're not wrong.
Khalil Shakir, who has been doing yeoman's work as the receiver for Josh Allen, missed last week's game, and it was apparent on how much that affected the Bills. I kind of got to lean with the Jets.
All right. Playoff updates in Major League Baseball. Bye, Philly. Bye.
Oh no, I think I said it best. I want to tell the Phillies players, you are awesome. You are an amazing group of people.
Had a great year. You had a great season.
You had a great season, and the only thing I have to say to their fans is, "Oh my God, suck it."
Currently going on top of 9. Cleveland is up by a run. And at the end of 3, the Yankees are up 1-0 on Kansas City. So we're going to see how that works out because they'll those two winners will face each other, and then you're waiting on the 5th game of Dodgers San Diego. One quick
and
NHL
Misty
note.
Doesn't like my answer of who I want to win that.
One quick NHL note. We want to say congratulations. Jessica Campbell last night became the first woman to coach an NHL game. She was also the first woman to coach an AHL game.
I want to clarify. There have been a lot of women breaking in with hockey. This is the first woman to coach from the bench.
And in the regular.
Yeah.
And because they started their season yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying is there have been multiple women. I don't want to dismiss their contributions in, performance, sports psychology, coaching, strength and fitness coaches that have been in there as well. A lot of great women behind the scenes, but it's nice to see somebody get behind the bench and get into a purview scope. Now, also giving women's credit before we move on anywhere else, tonight is game 1 of the WNBA finals between Minnesota and New York. I am always going to cheer on New York. So, Mike, suck it.
I think Liberty also win this as well. These have been great playoffs.
Yes. Well, and I remember I was the one during March. And wait, that sounds a little bit too much like propping myself up. Women's basketball is awesome. It doesn't matter if it's Caitlin Clark or not. Yes, Caitlin Clark is a needle mover. She is the show. But every one of these women are really awesome players. And it's, as much as I say the NBA is garbage based on what it's become, this is the basketball I love to watch.
And every game in the WNBA season matters because it's a shorter season. Every game matters. And these playoffs have been great. Been fun to watch.
You know what? And I don't know if this is going to work, but whoever cuts the clips on this one, I want that. I want my face saying that WNBA is the best professional basketball organization on the planet. I want that one, and I want it everywhere.
That would be Ashley.
I didn't want to call somebody out by name.
Oh, she handles the reels for us. Like, she's amazing, and I want her to have her flowers because she's amazing at what she does. And I have no problem shouting out Ashley. I think we're going to see her tomorrow night too. I think she's going to be there. Let's get into TV talk and start with stuff we watched this week. TV edition. I've got one thing. I forgot to set the DVR last week, so I got to watch it VOD, which I'm not happy about. But CW now has a game show of Trivial Pursuit hosted by LeVar Burton.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm DVRing the one tonight, but I haven't watched the first episode yet. But that's all I got for TV. What about you?
I have not had much with TV. It's been a crazy, hectic couple of weeks, so finding new stuff has not been a strong suit. But we do have somebody who I told to suck it a minute ago chiming in with Go Lynx, crush New York.
Well, hey, you know what? That means he's watching, and that means we're very happy that he's a member of our Patreon. Apple TV announcing season 2 of Monarch is adding Amber Midthunder to the cast.
April. I thought it was. Is it April or Amber?
Amber, I'm pretty sure.
All I know is that she was one of the ones I was hyping up after seeing Prey a few years ago. Have you caught this yet?
Monarch or Prey?
Prey.
I have not watched Prey yet. No, I've watched Prey. I haven't watched Monarch.
Okay. Monarch is.
It is Amber Midthunder, by the way.
I stand corrected on that one. But the first season of Monarch was really interesting, but I had a hard time with it. And this is one of those ones, and the person who's not here would hate it because it does time jump.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, but it does it, and it's not that hard to pick up on, but sometimes you're sitting there because, for lack of a better way to put it, when it comes to television shows at least, fatigues and military uniforms don't tend to change much over the eras. So it takes a second because it's like, okay, is it Kurt Russell or Wyatt Russell that's on the screen? Okay, it's Wyatt Russell. It's a flashback. Oh, it's Kurt Russell. It's current day.
Yeah, you're having to watch the tech around them just to see.
Basically. And even then, I'm not 100% sure it was right.
So last week's episode of Secret Galaxy, which is a YouTube channel I very much enjoy, they talked about the history of Goosebumps. And they recorded it maybe a couple of days too early because they had said that season 2 of Goosebumps on Disney Plus had not had any announcements made. And then it will be called The Vanishing. It comes January 10th, and it will have the David Schwimmer.
I saw there was a one sheet they did with him that was really cool.
Yeah,
Did you
I saw
catch that? Okay.
Yeah,
but my brain, because having recently rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine, loved it. Had the spaghettification of matter. That's all I could picture. And I was like, but what are the pants?
HBO Max has canceled Velma after 2 seasons. That's been kind of floating out there in the ether for a while, but they finally came out and said it. I haven't watched it, so I can't judge.
I heard one thing that was wildly spoilerific for the second season, and I feel like if you knew that, you'd kind of go, yeah, of course it's canceled.
We have your Jon Stewart for Lanterns.
And it's a great pick.
And it is Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge. I am on board. Let's go to there.
Yeah, he carries himself. Like, there is a certain thing you could see. Like, it's not necessarily the it factor you hear about with certain actors or performers, but when you see that guy, you're just like, star. I don't need to see anything else. That dude's a star.
So your current Green Lanterns are I just lost his name. Kyle Chandler, Aaron Pierre, and Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
So get ready for that. And I'm told that Kilowog's going to be in the series too. And to be clear, Fillion Superman movie. That's where
you lost me at Kilowog.
Kilowog's another member of the Green Lantern Corps that's very popular. He is an alien race. Okay. He's from an alien race. Netflix has canceled Chaos after 1 season. This was their series with Jeff Goldblum, was basically the modern version of the Greek gods. A lot of people freaking out. They've also canceled that 90s show after 2 seasons, which, not shocked, I couldn't get through the first episode. They have renewed The Night Agent for season 3 ahead of the release of season 2, and they've also renewed Nobody Wants This for season 2. That was announced right before.
The funny thing is that keeps popping up into my purview, and I still have no idea what it's about with the Nobody Wants This. I don't know what's going on.
I will say get ready for King of Collectibles season 3 because they're right at the center of the whole Shohei thing. They've got the ball. They have the ball right now. Golden has the ball. And Prime Video has announced you are getting season 4 of Reacher.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I almost replied to Al on this one that just said, yes, and water's still wet because they're not stupid. Yeah. It's like it's literally the best thing on the entire market.
We're going to make more of it. It's the news we report.
Oh, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be reporting it, but it's one of those where it's like it's such a given because we have Neegly getting her own show and she's awesome. Why would we give an offshoot while killing the first one? That's not how this works.
TV on DVD and Blu-ray this week. One Piece Collection 35, because yes, there are that many of them. The limited series 3-season collection of the reboot of Are You Afraid of the Dark, available to you on Tuesday. The complete series, the complete series for The Crown, which my wife very much enjoys. The complete franchise is what they're saying of Captain Planet, which, okay. The complete collection for Fear the Walking Dead. The complete classic series collection for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the best 300 episodes ever of SpongeBob SquarePants. Along with a compare, but if you don't want that many, they are doing one that's just end another 100 episodes.
You totally missed the opportunity to do the voice.
I don't.
Right before that, when are you ready, kids?
Here's my thing with SpongeBob SquarePants. Never watched an episode. But I will always remember where he lives because I was playing Trivial Pursuit and I made it to the end and that was the question and I didn't know. So that is emblazoned in my brain for the rest of eternity. Into movie talk, and
the reason it's stuck in my brain is having seen Corey Taylor play
that is true.
The theme song live, maybe hammered.
Let's move into stuff we watched this week. Movie edition. Only movie I saw this week we're going to talk about next week.
And I want to highlight the reviews that we have available at www.theclubhousepodcast.com.
That's our website.
That dropped this week because, yes, we saw it last week, but
yeah,
I cannot wait to talk about that.
And we have no movie headlines, so we can get right into movie new releases this week. Terrifier 3. It's happening. Get right with it, people.
I don't know if that's the right choice of phrasing there.
By the way, tomorrow is my 21st wedding anniversary, so happy anniversary to the lovely and talented Mrs. Irvin. The Apprentice. This is Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump. I have heard really good things about this performance.
I wanted to go catch this one, but I was busy on that invite, and I find it very fascinating.
Another reason to love Pharrell Williams. His biopic, Piece by Piece, hits this week, and it's done entirely in Lego. So I'm here for it. I missed that screening because it was last Thursday night while we were on the show.
Yep.
We also have, I should have. My Hero Academia has a movie this week called You're Next. Not the same movie as You're Next that I like because that movie is greatness, especially if you're looking for a movie for this time of year. Go check it out. We have a movie called Bad Genius. Benedict Wong is in this.
Benedict Wong is awesome.
A group of seniors of an entrepreneurial high school team up to take down a rigged college admissions system.
That sounds like the premise for another movie, Accepted, isn't it? No, that was where they created a fake college to get in because nowhere else could they.
Okay, fair enough. We also have The Silent Hour this week. This has Joel Kinnaman in it. And Mekhi Phifer, that's a name we haven't said in a very long time. I saw him recently, and I was like, oh, there's Mekhi Phifer. A detective with hearing loss and a deaf witness to a murder must lean on each other to outsmart killers they can't hear coming when cornered in an abandoned apartment block. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
We also, the wire is driving me crazy.
Mark Strong is in that too.
Oh, yeah, he is. We have an animated film called 10 Lives this week. I don't know what to do with this. Oh, no, that's not the one I thought it was. Never mind. Because the poster looks like another one that our friends at the Maki Horror Picture Show are going to be doing. It's really wheels off. A pampered cat takes for granted the lucky hand he's been dealt after he's rescued by and loved by Rose, a kind-hearted and passionate student. When he loses his 9th life, fate steps in to set him on a transformational journey. Let's see if there's any names I recognize in this. Oh, Zayn Malik from One Direction is in this. And Bill Nye.
Jeremy Swift.
I don't know who that is. He looks familiar.
Leslie Higgins from...
Oh, that's Higgins. I didn't recognize. Bonus track this week: charming teen and aspiring musician teams up with the son of a rock star to try to win the school talent show. So you got that going for you. We have a documentary about James Carville called Carville Winning Everything Stupid. And Lachlan Monroe, it's a name we haven't said in a while. Curious caterer forbidden fruit. A caterer's date turns awry when the singer at the event she's catering gets electrocuted, making it a crime scene she has to help investigate.
There's a lot of shifting in this.
Yeah! Is the Who going to open this thing? I don't know. All right. Not TV. A movie is on DVD and Blu-ray this week. Nightmare on Elm Street, the theatrical and uncut versions, is getting a steelbook, as well as the Eli Roth Thanksgiving and The Ring, all getting steelbooks this week.
So, but quick question: is this part of the lead up to the Freddy series?
Probably.
Okay. And do you know about this?
Yes.
Okay. I believe you've interviewed the person who is the new Freddy too.
I don't know. Have I?
I believe it's DJ Qualls.
Oh, I know he's involved. Oh, yeah.
I think he's Freddy.
Yeah. And Paramount Presents this week is the classic film To Catch a Thief. And the Criterion Collection has Demon Pond and Pandora's Box this week. And as a wise man likes to say, and now this. Kind of glad this half of the show doesn't have a ton of stuff. We got covered a lot last week as the Cheat Podcast gets underway. Your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. I thought I had a lot of programming to watch. 2 of them I didn't, because Reality of Wrestling was a rerun of week 1 of Summer of Champions, which just aired 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And WoW did not air in its time slot for some reason. So, but Bad Blood was a thing. Loved the opening. I thought the opening with Cody and H in the parking garage, very funny.
I don't know how I felt about that, because I actually had that sent to me the day before. And I was like, this can't be real. This can't, he dropped the bomb. And then it was the opening. And I was like, well, there it is.
I'm telling you.
There we go.
You can tell the 2 of them are living their best life. They just
absolutely
having a great time. I was kind of surprised we started with Hell in a Cell in a match that was nothing short of insanity.
For not doing too much with a match that has traditionally been too much, this was incredibly well done. And I'm not going to say it was the best ever, but I will say it was probably the best Hell in a Cell match since the New Day versus the Usos, if you want to go back that far. Yes, I'm acknowledging Cody versus Seth with the torn pec, but it was a good match. It wasn't as good as this. This
wasn't red. The cage was not red. I was very happy about that.
That is also true. I noticed that right off the bat, and I got very excited, but I noticed that in the promo the Monday before.
The Crown Jewel Championship will be a thing as champions will face each other. That belt looks a little too AEW for me. I'm just saying.
I also want to say, boo. We're literally doing another belt that we're going to see once, and it's going to wind up in a Sheik's living room. It's going to go right next to the greatest Royal Rumble belt, which didn't mean anything. This is not going to mean anything.
Shout out Braun Strowman.
Sorry?
I said shout out Braun Strowman.
Yes. But, and you broke my thought process on that one. I'm sorry.
Going to go on a shelf.
It's going to go on a shelf next to the greatest Royal Rumble. And I believe that this shouldn't be called Crown Jewel, because there is a better title for something like this. And I don't want to steal your thunder, because you're the one that has said this multiple times.
Go ahead.
It should be Clash of Champions.
Yep. I agree 100%. Because that's literally what's happened in those 2 main events.
But how do you book this at this point?
Well, you and I were texting, because I didn't get to watch this until Monday afternoon, and 3 different people tried to spoil things for me.
Because
one person multiple times.
Shame them. Say the name. Shame.
They apologized immediately. They self-corrected.
Fair enough. Do not shame them.
But there's a number of different ways this can go. The women's match actually intrigues me more than the men's match does, and I like everybody involved. I just from a literal standpoint, I know why this has to be a thing.
Money.
From a wrestling logic standpoint, I understood why you did Greatest Royal Rumble and you would award something for that because it's not something that happens every day. And I still think they should continue to do that because outside of poor Titus O'Neil,
Titus O'Neil is the most noteworthy thing to come out of that show.
I like that though, because I like the Greatest Royal Rumble thing. I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, make it worth something. Give that person a title shot.
Idea. Put that as because traditionally the Money in the Bank has been 6. Make the winner of the Greatest Royal Rumble the 7th person in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Here for it. Or flip your Saudi shows. Do that one later in the year. Mm-hmm. Winner of the Greatest Royal Rumble gets to be number 30.
Or they get the title shot at the proper Royal Rumble.
Also here for that.
There's a lot of different ways we could do this if they, dodge it.
H, call me.
Hey, Steph, call me.
The checkbook. I mean, hey, Tony Khan, call me. Whoever the heck's running TNA, call me. We got the tease for on SmackDown and during the plea and during Raw. We know the Motor City Machine Guns are coming. We just don't know when.
And honestly, it's so strongly that it's Motor City Machine Guns that I almost expect it to be swerved in some way. No pun intended. Where it turns out that it's like they're not what shows up, but it's somebody else. And
the return of Raquel.
Was surprised by that.
But
I'm happy to see her back.
I'm happy to see her back, but I'm not sure where this is going. I'm not a big fan of. Let her be her. Let the Judgment Day be the Judgment Day 2.0, and then whatever.
I think this, and may I rebut what you're saying on this?
Please do.
We have had a situation like this where we had very talented people, most notably Finn Balor and Seth Rollins before, who kept trying to be made the guy. And I'm only using it in this context because of Finn and Seth.
Right.
But there was this stigma about they wouldn't be available for every show because they were getting hurt. I appreciate this because Raquel's was a medical condition that I believe is still ongoing. So letting her work her way back in as part of a group means that she doesn't have to be the focal as if she is on her own. I am good with this being the toe in the water, getting things, making sure it works well for her and her health, and then letting her be her own thing. So I do not take issue right now.
But if you're going to put her with the group, they've put her with the wrong group.
I don't know that they have. Where else would you put her?
There's
if you say LWO, I'm going to give you one.
No, there's a brand new group that she would be perfect for.
You mean Team Forehead?
Pure Fusion Collection.
Yeah, Team Forehead. I want them off my screen. They suck.
No, I think she's the perfect fourth for that because that's your enforcer. She fits the vibe of tap out, snap out, pass out.
But my problem is that they see her as redundant in that scope because Baszler is the enforcer.
But she towers over Baszler.
You're not wrong. But what I'm saying is,
put
her in there, you make Baszler the redundancy, and she becomes.
Put her as like the back row just to kind of fill out the intimidation factor. But if you're going to put her in a group, that's the one that I believe she should be in.
Except for the fact that group is garbage right now.
I'm not saying they're my favorite.
They're so much better than this, and that name is
it's a terrible name
that failed.
But they love the name Collective for some reason. Because that's what they were doing with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. They had collective in their name too.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, I
Bate
just
got hurt so quickly after that. I don't even know if it counts.
Jimmy Uso makes his appearance back as we set up as the road to Survivor Series begins. Dwayne shows up at the end. We all know where this is going. And I'm okay with it, but let's just get to there so we can build the story. And not what I texted you as the fantasy booking for Crown Jewel. Because I don't want that.
What about my fantasy booking that was a little different?
No, I mean, I said I was on board with what you were pitching, but
I don't know that that's going to be it or even close to it. But
allegedly, Elimination Chamber is going to be in England in March. The rumors are out there. I'm here for it because that means we can be done by dinner. AJ's injury seems to be legit. That was suffered on SmackDown. It was good to see him again. Bring back.
They have actually denied that in reports. They have said it was part of the story, but it looked bad.
Well, the original report I read is that it was in story, but then the next day I was reading it was legit. So Lord only knows.
It was New Catch Republic. There was not collective.
There you go.
That I knew it was something else, but I wanted to confirm.
Punk comes out on Raw, says he's going to be taking time off. I expect this to last to the Rumble at longest, and Seth has to be next. We have to do this angle. We've gotten the McIntyre thing done. Seth has to be next. Give the people what they want.
Cut to the Batista gift. Yeah, I don't know that it'll last until the Rumble, but we know that we have to give time because Seth is going to be the make or break. And I said this, I don't like it, but I'm curious what your opinion is. Seth Bronson Reed is going to be the decider. When that feud is done, one of two things is going to happen. Either Bronson Reed is going to be firmly entrenched as a title contender, or they're going to fire him again.
I believe, and I'm saying this now, on October 10th, on Binary Day, 1010.
Happy birthday, AJ.
Hey, what's up, AJ? He is top 3 pick for me to win the Rumble.
Bronson Reed?
Yep.
That's surprising because I feel like we had talked about this. By this time, we usually have an eye on who we really think it's going to be. I finally have that person. I have a distinct, strong feeling as to who it's going to be. And I've been pretty good on my batting average with this.
Go ahead.
It's Braun Breaker.
You mean the guy using the super spear?
Mm-hmm.
Tap the brake. And let's tap the brake on Spear City, too.
It worked with Suplex, so why not rehash?
It's gimmick infringement.
Yeah, but remember, this is the kind of thing they do when they're trying to hide a past incident. They do this.
It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Braun Breaker's past the Rumble. Like it's a step back for him because I agree with the Don logic. Yeah, mark that down. That he knows it. That you use things like Money in the Bank and the Rumble to elevate somebody, especially Money in the Bank. But Money in the Bank seems to me in his rear view, just like I believe it's for Bronson Reed. That Money in the Bank briefcase would be in the rear view. But I could see H rolling the dice and going, okay, dude, this is your shot. And putting him in a program with somebody that can elevate him. Like they tried with Seth. I think they took it too far with Seth. Like the seven tsunamis or whatever they were. Like, I get what you were trying to do, but hashtag doing too much.
I get that.
So I like what they were doing with Strowman. Give that some more legs.
I did dig the monster, the kaiju battle aspect. That was a lot of fun.
Put this thing in the cell.
Well, But you know what I want them to do? Yes, working with Seth makes everybody better because he is amazing. Give me gangster enforcer Bronson Reed like we had been getting teased. The man, even at his size, knows how to wear a suit. He delivers intense promos from behind the Versace glasses. He knows what he's doing in that scope, and he does it well. So let him show that character and then flip the switch and be this Bam Bam monster in the ring.
No, thank you.
Bam
and
Bam with one M.
Oh, okay, fair enough. NXT, I'm saying this now.
Mm-hmm.
They should only be doing venues of that size because they had to change venues because they weren't selling a lot of tickets. That venue was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The way it was lit, the way it was set up, the way they had the crowd positioned. There were people on the stage. Like, I loved it.
Shout out to the production team that put that together.
Absolutely.
Because those are unheralded, just absolute monsters for the product, and they knocked it out of the park with this one.
And it fits the vibe so much better.
Mm-hmm.
It works. The Dawn wins the North American Championship, which now we have 2 weeks in a row with at least one title change.
Yep.
For NXT. So we're moving things around a little bit. I'll be interested to see. Apparently this coming week, we're going to get the new set because they'll be back in Orlando.
Yes. Yeah, we can't say Full Sail because it's not that. We can't say the Performance Center because it's not that.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then we're at Halloween Havoc before too much longer.
Where Delta is scheduled to make her debut.
Nikita Lyons returned on TV. She's already worked a house show. I'll be interested to see what they do with her. We had Stephanie Vaquer in person for the first time on television. Yeah. Her and Julia could be an unstoppable force. I'm looking to see where that goes. I thought NXT was good this week. Mm-hmm. I liked this one better than I liked the one in Chicago.
Chicago felt like they were still trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, but this looked great. Keep touring, but only do venues like that. And for the people that are saying, no, this is perfect for NXT. NXT shouldn't be at facilities on the level of the main roster. That defeats the purpose of NXT. Get them to work their way up.
Yeah, now you do your home shows, not house shows, but your home shows on Tuesday. Give them Friday, Saturday to be on the road, see what that's like, work in front of a live crowd, work with some things, learn some things, and then come back and get it on TV on Tuesday and grow organically. It's why Florida Championship Wrestling was so crucial before it was NXT. Mm-hmm. It was the fact that they moved around other places. Oh, wow. They're showing the Tropicana with its roof ripped off. And somebody mentioned something that broke my brain on that one. And I apologize if it was you, Rob, and I forgot. Thinking about how it's only been 8.5 months, that's where the Rumble was to start this year.
Yeah.
And now
that was where they were staging for first responders too.
Mm-hmm.
Which we want to send our best. I mean, I've heard from just about everybody that I associate with in the great state of Florida, and the ones I have not heard, I have gotten verification that they're okay as well. Man, it was. I mean, I know most of the people I know were doing okay. I liked hearing people say that it could have been a lot worse. So, yeah, just everybody make good choices, man. Because it's just, man, for those of you that have never been through something like that, when our hometown is seeing tornadoes, like that's out of control.
Yeah.
I'd never seen a tornado that wasn't on a movie screen or a TV screen growing up. And now they're like, one hit Coconut Creek a couple of years ago, came up in my memories thread. It's out of control. So please be safe, make good choices. Know that we've got you all on our thoughts. And I saw that your mom checked in safe this morning too. Mm-hmm. So going across the country to Tacoma, Wrestle Dream is this Saturday. We're trying to work out a plan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables involved there. Anthony Henry has a bicep tear. That's why you haven't seen him in the ring. But I like this bit with the jacket. I think it's funny. Maria Kanellis. Did you see that tweet the other day?
I did not.
She is now saying after Halloween, she is happy to do interviews on her time, and I quote, and treatment during her AEW tenure. And then after about another 5 weeks, she'll start taking bookings because she's having surgery, which we want to send her all the best for. Rampage will end in December, and after next weekend, there will be no more Battle of the Belts as well. Because since we're technically over on belts, and why are we calling that Title Tuesday? Was there like one title match in that whole show?
Well, because of alliteration. That's really all it was.
You know, I love alliteration, but at least give me more title. And I loved having them both on last night because I got them both knocked out. You didn't have to watch anything today. Now, Ring of Honor allegedly being an hour 50 tonight, I'm not happy about. But no Collision this week also, by the way. They're not doing any form of AEW Collision this week because of Wrestle Dream. You're still going to get Rampage, but nothing else.
Yeah, and before we go any further on that, we want to acknowledge Tony Khan stepping up in a massive, massive way, helping people dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Dax put up a really nice post about how y'all don't understand. Tony gets just, I think he used a word I can't say on this show, but getting just absolutely dragged over the coals in dirt sheets or made fun of, and all that dude just wants to do good, whether it be putting a good product out or anything. They mentioned, hey, some people around us need X, and he went all in, helping police, first responders, rescuers, individuals that lost homes. And it's you want to highlight stuff like that. You want to give people the credit when they're doing good, because if nothing else, just remember what Mr. Rogers taught us. When you see a scary event, look for those helping, because they'll always be there.
And I've said this for years. Sometimes activism is doing the right thing without the pomp and circumstance. What do they say? Integrity is not just doing the right thing when nobody's looking. It's doing the right thing when everybody else is compromising. But we do send our best out to everybody. This has been a crazy weather season, and just, guys, stay safe. Make good choices. It hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Anything else that I'm missing? Because I know
for a wrestling week, it's been pretty low key, building to Wrestle Dream. Outside of the title match, is there anything you're looking for a highlight on this show?
I don't know what I'm looking forward to, and we forgot to talk about Saturday night. Go to our website, www.theclubhousepodcast.com. Read our reviews on Saturday night. That comes out tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie, my brain literally went, wait, we're talking about Wrestle Dream. That is Saturday night. Oh, the movie.
Yeah. Go see the movie. You just go see the movie because it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was shot on 16 millimeter. But again, just everybody just make good choices. We love all y'all. We're so happy that if you're watching this, that means you're riding with us, because this is exclusively on Sunset Lounge DFW. There's such great stuff. Come hang out with us tomorrow night. We want to see you guys. We might have stuff to give you. You don't know. I might have the swag box in the car. You don't know. I'm going to bring it and see if they'll let us use it.
That'd be fun,
because we got a lot of stuff in there still. So
yeah,
over there's a QR code. Scan it. You can find all the things. Because since we're not having the audio feed at this point, which I need to talk to Ashley and see if she wants us to do that, we do want to send a shout out to everybody at Sunset Lounge DFW. They're doing a fantastic job. There are some great, great shows on this network. Check them all out. You might find something that you like, because there's a couple of things that I've seen on this network that kind of cool, and I'm digging it. And I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in person that we haven't met already. I'm told there's going to be some surprises. It's going to be awesome. Come out and see us tomorrow night at Smoky Rose. What a great name. Smoky Rose. That don't say Texas. I don't know what does. You can follow me on all your social medias if you'd like. Everything is yes, that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like help out the show, please go to prowrestlingtees.com and search for the Cheap Podcast. We got a lot of different shirt options, a lot of different color options within those. If you happen to be an artist and have a design you think you want to contribute, you will get paid for any shirt that is sold. Or if you have suggestions, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com. Now, little homework assignment for anybody who is watching. I want to hear from you. Find me on social, shoot me an email. What are your absolute must-watch Halloween season movies?
It's
not
that time
necessarily horror. I don't care if it's Ernest Scared Stupid. I want to hear what
Great
you
Pumpkin,
watch.
baby. Great Pumpkin. Every year.
Miak.
Every year. I have the Blu-rays. Although Apple TV's got them up converted to 4K and they look
So
fantastic.
the same thing he just did, but send it to me on social. Send it to me by email. Tell me the ones that you don't think get enough love.
Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. The official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions, Don Ford. You can find him on X Twitter at Igbunu, IGBUNUUU. Our normal show every Thursday night. We're going to make it happen next week, people. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed. Brittany Palmer had some great pictures of, I think it was her house she was showing today. Fantastic place.
See you in about 21 hours, folks.
Oh, yeah.